Good morning, good day, and good evening. Welcome to East Bay Insiders TV. I'm Steve Tavares. Two regional matters are atop the minds in the East Bay: housing and homelessness and transportation. With me today is someone in the thick of both those issues, Alameda Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft. Welcome, Madam Mayor, to the show.
Thank you so much, my constituent, Steve Tavares.
Yeah, you're my mayor. I gotta be on my P's and Q's today.
Best behavior.
It's going to be difficult.
I'll help you.
So let's start, Madam Mayor. Let's start with Measure W, the half-cent sales tax that was approved by county voters in 2020. This week, the Board of Supervisors backed a plan to allocate 80%, not the 85 that I wrote this morning on Wednesday, 80% of 810 million in accrued funds to housing and homelessness. So this has been the crux of this question between the board and cities. Do you think this is enough?
You know, when it comes to addressing homelessness and both addressing it and ending it and preventing it, it's never enough, but we're going to do the best we can with what we get. We're going to triage the funds we get. And I'm quite sure I speak for the mayors of Alameda County, and the 14 of us really did come together to make our needs known to the supervisors, that this is going to be a huge help, and especially at a time when we're all really nervous about our federal funding being either withdrawn or simply not forthcoming. So we're gonna do the most with this. We're gonna do more with less. But I appreciate. I saw Supervisor Nate Miley earlier this morning because we both serve on MTC, and I told him, I know you've got just a lot on your plate, a lot before you with how to spend this money, but I really do appreciate that you listen to us, the mayors, and you came up with this, because we are all working. Alameda's working hard, but we want to continue the programs we have. We want to add new ones, but we definitely need that infusion from this county sales tax measure. And as speakers last night pointed out, this was also an expectation of the voters from the way that the measure was marketed to them before they voted.
Right. So when we talk about this, the county money, 810 million, that was because of a lawsuit that held the money in right. escrow, and so it just kept piling up, roughly 150. Maybe now we think it's 170 million a year, and that's going to keep coming after this tranche of this big tranche of like 810 million. But
yeah, 10-year bill, 10-year.
10-year, and we might add that there was rumblings on Tuesday night that the county would be interested in maybe already reauthorizing that before or by the time so we're way ahead. Way ahead of it.
Yeah, I kind of like to not count my chickens before they hatch, but one step at a time. But I'm not the county administrator.
So like for residents, even in Alameda, and just in other cities, when we talk about this money doesn't go straight to Alameda, right? It goes. So explain how would an Alamedan benefit, and I guess it could be any other city. How would they benefit directly for the housing and the homelessness situations in each of these cities?
Yeah, well, some of it is by just reauthorizing grants, reallocating grants that we already have. For instance, you're familiar with Dignity Village. It's an interim supportive housing unit, 61 units, or it houses up to 61 unsheltered individuals, or it could be couples, all adults, and a residential on-site manager. All the units have their own private bathroom. We stood that up fairly quickly in 2023 using our ARPA funds for the one-time expenditure of getting those modular units and the construction. And then we had grant funding from the state, from the county, some from the federal government, and we put in local money from the general fund. The ARPA money will run out in 2027, and then we're looking at operating costs of $2 million annually. We can't backfill that from our general fund. We need to have that continued county support. So when we wrote our letter, the mayors of Alameda County wrote a letter collectively to the supervisors, but then we all wrote our own. So we need to keep programs like Dignity Village going. And you probably already know, as an Alameda resident, that we have our day center out at Alameda Point that includes safe parking. That takes money to continue to sustain. Right. And we also are looking to build, well, not build, but out at Alameda Point, rehab some space to be the new day center and overnight parking that would give us more space for people, so we can take in more unsheltered folks. And there is a registration system that everyone who comes and who stays there has to register, but that gets you into the county system, so they know your needs, know where you are, and can reach out when they've got a space that's tailored to you. So sometimes it's a matter of county programs assisting residents who are staying in the various facilities that we have. We also have out in Alameda Point some of our former military housing, the Big Whites, where the officers used to live. We use some of those for transitional housing for adults and others for families that are unsheltered. And all of those programs have some county funding. We want to sustain it. We also ask that, because every city is unique, has different needs, is meeting them different ways, include the cities when you're putting these RFPs together. Let us help you. Let us give you input, because we know what it looks like on the ground where we are. I mean, obviously the supervisors also administer the unincorporated areas of our county, so that's their jurisdiction. But don't overlook this valuable resource you have with our cities. So those are all the ways we will help them spend that money well.
Now, to change gears a little bit here, you sit on the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. On Wednesday, the commission received an update on SB 63, which seeks state approval to place a regional transportation sales tax measure on the ballot. Now, just like the homeless issue, the mayors and everybody of the cities, mostly in Alameda County, they're down with SB 63, but some other counties are not. What's the update on those? In particular, I believe it's San Mateo County and Santa Clara County.
Yeah, just last night, I guess late last night, we got a letter, the commission got a letter from the two senators who are the sponsoring the bills, the authors, Senator Scott Wiener and our own Senator Jesse Adigan. And this was just updated, the expenditure plan and some details about what the expenditures and benefits would be to the different counties. And what I'm hearing, both from people who have been working on negotiating the expenditure plan across the 5 counties, but also from my fellow commissioners today, especially, well, I happen to sit between New Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee, but San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. And Matt let us know that Santa Clara County, he's in Santa Clara County, is moving closer, that already Caltrain has endorsed the measure, but of course the South Bay is also served by VTA, and they are working with that board. But Matt and also the county supervisors who sit on the commission from San Mateo County, from Santa Clara County, we're very positive about how these continued talks just keep yielding better results. We're closing the delta with some very valid concerns and objections that they had. And what I said when I commented is that I really wanted to commend everyone who's been working on these negotiations, and there have been just a lot of side conversations. I've been a part of one of them. But I said, I always understood representing the 14 cities of Alameda County, the importance of this measure for our transit systems, for our residents. But it was a learning curve for me to get to understand the issues and the history of some of the hesitations that San Mateo and Santa Clara County have expressed. But I said, my sense is that you all are feeling like you're being listened to, like you're being heard and respected. And I saw what I call the bobbleheads, but nodding in response. And I can't understate the value of good communication and continued communication, and just hearing from people, not assuming that we know just what is what is needed. And so with that, and I mean, the runway's getting a little shorter because I think there's an August 11th deadline. It's got to be finalized to go to the governor, who will hopefully approve it, going on the November 2026 ballot. But from what I heard today, and like Supervisor Margaret Abekoga from I think that's Santa Clara County, Mountain View. Yeah. She used the term, I am optimistic about this, and so that is a good thing. And lots of moving parts, lots of different agencies need to weigh in, but we're getting closer all the time, and we just keep moving in the right direction. So I'm knocking on wood as we speak that we'll have more positive things to report.
All right. Well, Madam Mayor, thank you for joining the show.
My pleasure.
Alameda Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft. And remember, for more information on stuff like this, subscribe to the East Bay Insiders newsletter at eastbayinsiders.substack.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. That was fun. Bye.